Ladies and gentlemen, I think we deserved one. Maybe we deserve even more. Is it time to start getting excited with Laj? Or are we still holding judgment? That and much more in another night, another podcast.
Hasta que no estás aquí dentro no sabes la grandeza de este equipo.
Quero o Benfica intimidar o adversário. Quero um manto sagrado entrar com vocês em qualquer estádio. E esses estádios, pá! É isso que eu quero!
What's going on, everybody? Welcome.
Remember, I'm just reading.
Yeah. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Talking to the Dog Benfica podcast. My name is Alfredo Fumacic, with you every week. This week on Wednesdays because our team played today. And if you haven't noticed yet, there's a little excitement and pep in my speech. It's because it's a happy night. Those European Wednesday nights at Stadio de Luz that we all remember, especially from the old ones. Not all of us, but Cristiano sure remembers. What's happening, Cristiano?
What's up, Alfredinho? Now, just imagine you didn't take my advice in saying to do this podcast on Wednesday.
That was good.
You wouldn't be enjoying this,
I know.
this high ride right now.
I
So
know.
It's a good thing. It's a good thing. Sometimes I come up with good ideas.
Yeah. Every once in a while. Even a broken clock is right twice a day, you know?
Yeah. But, I got to say, Dave, I think, was the icing on the cake. Dave's the one because I came up with it, you were kind of and then Dave's like, no, we had to do it, and you took it. So we all had great ideas.
Well, yeah, it was one of those things that, we have the Gil Vicente game to talk about, but Dave, what else were we going to talk about if we did the podcast yesterday? Nothing else.
It would have just been more previews, and then at least it would have still been coming off a high of Gil Vicente, but tonight's a much higher high than the weekend's past games. But
yeah,
and think about it. It saved us the embarrassment of all predicting the loss. And then, you know what I mean? We'll get into
Isn't that the truth?
Welcome to the Freddies. What's going on? We got a couple new Freddies here in the chat. Make sure you smash that like button, and Alfredo, in a little while, guys, we'll go over.
Yeah, I guess I'm gonna start. Flavio Ferreira, Melo, Nick Au. Nick is actually from across the globe, so welcome, Nick. And Aussie Benfica is also across the world. Jason Gaidola, Manuel da Cunha, Bruno Gil Rodrigues, Carlos Amaro, Nick Valadão, Manny Valadão, Saucy. Kevin, Sneaker Shouts. Saucy sent me a text earlier today. Saying that he was gonna eat crow with because he was very upset when Laj got appointed. And I said, "Don't do it yet, bro. Just give it some time. One game at a time, and then we'll talk." I don't think it's reason to be excited that Benfica's been winning. They've been playing well. Players that are playing in their rightful positions. So things are going well. But I was
Alfred, you can't air out his laundry like that, bro.
I'm just saying, man. He texted me. He texted me. No, look, people, Cristiano. People take your advice. When it's time to eat crow, they're gladly eat crow.
Yes,
so
absolutely. I love my favorite dish is eating crow, in particular when it comes to my sports team, because I love to eat crow. I hate it when I'm right. Well, especially when it's negative. I love it when I'm right, when it's positive. Just like I was right about doing this podcast tonight, but we'll keep that for another time. But yeah, crow is a terrific dish, but it's only when negative things are predicted.
Yeah. So it's we get excited. We get excited about the team playing well, the team winning games. Certainly, I think that this game was probably the best game out of Laj's second stint here at Benfica. I
Yeah,
thought,
man, don't sell it short, Alfredo. This is the best game. Woo. I mean, look. Let's not forget we did play some wonderful football under Roger Schmidt, in particular in the first 6 months. So much so that we needed to score 6 goals in order to qualify first out of our group and knock the almighty Paris Saint-Germain with Lionel Messi and the other all-star cast into second place, and we did so. So let's not act like we haven't played some good football over the years, but this was as an emphatic win as I can remember. I know we beat Juventus, we beat Barcelona. As I said, we beat, I forget the name of that, Maccabi or whoever the hell it was that we beat 6-1 or whatever
Yeah.
it was at the time. But in terms of quality opponent and the expectations coming into this game, Alfredo, this was a little bit better than just, a normal win. And I know where you're going to go with, ever since Lage was appointed, it hasn't been phenomenal football like today was. But let's not short sell this one.
no, I don't think I'm short selling it, but certainly, that dominating football that we were expecting from Lage hasn't happened yet, especially on his first stint yet. But we give it time because he really hasn't had the time to train the team, for the team to assimilate his ideas. I think we see some of the dynamics there, but sometimes the timing is off. Players are passing into areas where other players are either late getting there or the ball is played behind them. So it's taking a little bit. I think the biggest thing that what happened today, I thought it was a very good coaching job by Lage against this Atletico Madrid, and we'll get into it in a little bit. But yeah, thank you all the Freddies for joining us. And today we'll be recapping the Gil Vicente game. We'll recap the Atletico Madrid game, and we'll also look ahead to Benfica's weekend game on Sunday against Nacional de Madeira, where Benfica will travel to the Madeira Islands. Hopefully the fog will hold up and we'll be able to get the game in. I'm sure the pitch is fine. I think it's, what is it, Cristiano? The pitches in the Açores are a little bit more difficult. The ones in Madeira are fine.
I mean, you're going to have to go to Dave.
Different
Dave
islands.
has to check the stats. Exactly. Dave has to.
Different islands. Less rain in Madeira, more dry conditions.
Thank you, Dave, because this guy's about to get Madeira on top of me too after this. So thank you, Dave.
You're already on the most wanted. Cristiano, you're like Guterres.
No,
Guterres is not allowed.
Most unwanted.
Guterres is not allowed in Israel,
visitor.
and now you're not allowed in Açores.
Who's not allowed? Who?
Guterres.
Say that again?
Guterres. You don't know who Guterres is? Guterres is the Secretary General of the United Nations. He also happened to be Portuguese. Yeah.
Yeah, but why? I don't know. That's a story for another day. Okay, tell me.
Yeah, well, that's politics. We don't
from Real Madrid.
Yeah,
that's the only Guterres I know.
we don't talk about politics here on the podcast. We keep the politics aside. But I just thought it was a neat comparison between you not being welcome in the 9 islands of Azores and Guterres not being welcome in Israel. Just thought it was a good comparison. I mean, in terms of you're as much of a figure as Guterres is. So, I thought it was it was a proper comparison. But anyway, enough with the pleasantries. Let's get right into it. Benfica.
Hold on, before you
go ahead.
Alfredo. Dave, is he breaking up for you too, or just me? Because you kind of like chopped up, Alfredo.
It was a little bit choppy. I didn't know if it was my end.
Yeah, Dave, you froze for a little bit,
choppy.
And you went off.
You're still breaking up.
It's still breaking. How's it sound for everyone?
Yeah, guys, the Freddies, what's up?
Yeah, Freddies, talk to us. Talk to us. Tell us what's going on. It might be something that I don't know if I'm touching something or maybe the dog is stepping on the internet. Let us know how it sounds, and if it's bad or if it's gotten better. How's it sounding for you guys now? Good.
Still the same thing.
Still breaking.
It's worse when we're trying to talk over top, I think, but
no, but Dave, it's only him. You don't do it.
No,
It's
okay.
Yeah, DJ Natural Fire says it's good, and Melgatius Annoying Accent Review says you sound fine. No problem on this end, says Carlos. Maybe you guys got the shitty
Okay.
internet. I don't know. Anyway,
Okay, let's go.
let's go.
No, Dave's in Canada, so he probably has it, but I'm not in Canada.
Benfica hosted Gil Vicente at Stadio Luz this past weekend. Trubin was in goal. Araújo, Silva, Otamendi, and Carreras across the back. Tino, Auschnitz, and Kokshu. Di Maria, Artur Koglu, and Pavlidis. So the 11 that we've gotten accustomed to seeing, especially with Bob being out for this game. Araújo played at right back. Not a very good start by Benfica, allowing a goal 8 minutes in, but we were always in control. I don't think the team ever wavered from what their focus is, and in the 17th minute we equalize. Otamendi off of Di Maria corner kick. 25th minute 2-1. Artur Koglu off of an assist by Auschnitz, and we were up like that when we went into the locker room up. I don't know, Dave, what'd you think? What'd you think of the first half?
I mean, it's not good that we're still conceding early against these smaller clubs, especially at home. But as we've mentioned before, better to concede early than later on in these games. So with the fan support behind this team, the boys just got back to work and continued to press forward, and well-deserved result going into the halftime.
Yeah.
I thought Gil Vicente played some good football, though, in that first half. I thought
Yeah, there was
some
periods.
problems. But being at home, and as Dave said, I think we could just beat that to death, right? If you ever want to concede, not that you ever want to concede, but if you're going to concede, you want it to be early.
Yeah.
So like that, you have the rest of the game to kind of mount a comeback. And that's exactly what Benfica did. But it is concerning, as Dave said, it's, these little things that Lage and his coaching staff still have to fix. And it will happen, as we talked about last week, with Benfica playing every 3 days. It's kind of hard to get on the practice field and kind of organize everything, come down with your system and your tactics. But they're gonna work things out. Much more positive today than we would have been. We done the podcast yesterday, but yeah, I mean, good signs. The fact that the team doesn't give up and they created enough chances to come back and kind of put the pressure on the opposition going into halftime. So good rebound from the club.
Yeah, no, I think that the team is growing confident in their ability, and the fact that they know that this team is very, very final third balanced. I don't know if that makes sense, but very, very offensive in terms of getting men into the final third of the opposition. I also like the fact that there's actually subs taking place. In the 68th minute, Cabral came in for Pavlidis, Rolheiser came in for Kokshu, Amdouni came in for Artur Koglu. And look, I think that if there was one thing that we always complained, well, there's multiple things we complained about Schmidt, was the fact that he took way too long to make substitutions, oftentimes not even using the five substitutions at his disposal. And certainly, I think that there's a certain way that Lage is going about this, right? So he said that it's a clean slate, and I think when a new coach comes in, players know that, look, it's a clean slate. I have regardless of the fallouts that I had with the coach or the coach's opinion of me, I got a fresh start. And I think that Lage understands this, and albeit knowing exactly who his 11 or 12 guys or 13 core guys are going to be, I think that he's also making sure that he's bringing everyone else along. All right, so I think that Cabral has done well coming in. He scored a goal in the last game. Rolheiser had a good preseason, then had that injury, but is a guy that's kind of like emerged as a viable option. And Amdouni is a guy that's still getting used to Benfica, but we've seen some great things from him. And I think it's just a matter of Lage saying, hey, you guys are working hard. Let's keep you motivated. Let's keep this team balanced. And at the same time, let me not lose or create too much of a gap between that core group of players that I'm going to pick on or play to the guys that 15 through 18 19 guys, make sure there's not that big of a gap in between those. And I think he did well. 76th minute, best coming from.
Hold on, not to pour salt in the wound, but he's doing exactly what we all here on the podcast of Freddy's and the majority of Benfica around the world were saying that the former coach should have done, right?
Yeah.
Just to clarify that. Okay.
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah.
Continue. 79-minute. Continue.
Look, I think that it's great that that he's not isolating just that group of 13 players, that core players. That it always seemed that those were the core players for Schmidt, right? So he's extending that to other guys. In the 76-minute, best came in for Di Maria, and we've now seen in a few games how Di Maria is being managed. And albeit you can make an argument of saying, well, maybe could have come out 10 minutes earlier or 5 minutes earlier. Nonetheless, we're not pushing Di Maria into the 85th minute or even the whole 90 minutes, which is what we want, right? 78th minute, Amdouni scores the third goal off of an assist of Rollheiser. In the 90th minute, Tino gets an assist off of Otamendi for 4-1. In the 90-plus, Rollheiser unassisted with the 5-1, and that's how it would finish.
I got a little pet peeve of mine,
Yeah.
Alfred. I got a little pet peeve. I hate these. And Dave, you're the stats guy. I hate these stats, right? Oh, Rollheiser got an assist. The guy passed the ball to Amdouni in the middle of the park, and he decides to pull up and shoot. But he gets to the to me, come on, bro. You gave the guy the ball, and the guy did everything else. I mean, I don't know why that counts as an assist.
It's fantasy football, man.
But yeah, by the letter of the law.
Not the last guy to touch it before he scored.
So the guy that in 1986 World Cup that passed the ball to Maradona, just tell like, yo, get it like the hot potato, get it out of here. And Maradona picks out the whole world. On the books, he gets an assist. Come on,
Chris, just be happy it's not like the secondary hockey assist isn't in soccer too.
Yeah.
It could be much
which
worse.
the MLS did last week for Lionel Messi, by the way. But that's another conversation.
The MLS got secondary assists now?
Yes.
Yeah, but
He's
that's
the only
more.
one.
I think that's
He's the
more.
only one in the league.
It's fantasy. I think that counts for the fantasy football. You know, you got to come up
I
with
know,
some
but
stats.
but it should be a pass forward. It shouldn't be like I pass the ball backwards and you go on and fake out the whole team and then you get an assist. Come on, dude. There's got to be something to it.
Yeah,
I think there's got to be something to it. But much that way.
yeah. Kevin is saying here, one player I'd like to see get minutes is Andreas Sheldrup. Yeah, look, I think we all would like, but at this point, we don't know how training is going for these guys. And I'm sure
they'll get it.
We got Pavilion. We got
Gil Vicente. Didn't they get in? They came in against Gil Vicente, no?
Sheldrup, no.
No.
But we got.
Why am I confused? So, what game am I thinking about? Is that the
Yeah, Pavilion is coming up on the Portuguese Cup, and I'm sure these guys will get a chance. And look, even look at Prestiani. Prestiani went from being a starter to, I mean, he's only coming in on certain games, off the bench. Let's see what else the folks are saying here. Everybody's excited. Malgatius is saying if you're recording the sound on the side, sometimes Emelo saying nice to see Laj happy as well with his good start from the team. Yeah. Aussie Benfica is saying Laj's subs impact as they have time to impact, not like Schmidt, right? I mean, what's a guy gonna do in the 85th minute? What time does he have to impact the game? That's a good call. But look, at the end of the day, it's 3 points. I think the way we've seen Porto and especially Sporting play, I don't think we could afford to give up any more points. And look, at Stadio Luz, that's your fortress, that's your house. You really shouldn't even be allowing goals at Stadio Luz, but do those happen? But yeah, that's your fortress. That's where you should be winning all your games. And I think at some point Benfica held some kind of a record for consecutive home wins or didn't lose at home for a long streak. But yeah, it's an important win for Benfica, 5-1. I think the score is a little bit too high for what we saw. Benfica did dominate the game, but I thought that towards the end of the game, Gil Vicente just ran out of gas, and that's where the guys that come in for Benfica made an impact. So yeah, so good win for Benfica. Dave, stats.
No stats. I've got them more combined for the next game, so nothing on here.
Cristiano, everybody wants to talk about the next game. Atletico Madrid.
Dude, I'm so, as do I completely blanked. I'm being dead ass. I blanked on the Gil Vicente game.
Yeah.
I'm still thinking Shaldrup and Cristiano came. I think that was the previous game. Everyone perdido, bro.
Yeah. No,
I'm
they
just
did. You're right. They did come in the previous game, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, so I'm still
yeah. Manny Valadão was saying Sheldrop came in.
Manny Valadão was saying came in. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah. And Kevin says, just don't want to burn his development again. Think the kid's special. Yeah, I mean, he's special, but he's still young, just like Prestiani. And a lot of these kids...
He hasn't showed it at Benfica. He hasn't shown every time he's getting an opportunity. Let's be frank, guys. Yeah, you get highlights from him being on loan last year were spectacular, and they were exactly that, highlights. You know, the kid played brilliantly. But for Benfica, I don't know if it's the pressure. I don't know if it's the competition. It's the comfort zone, whatever it is. Maybe he hasn't adapted yet, but it's still, we still haven't seen that flash or flashes of what we expected or anticipate. But, you know, he's still young. There's still plenty of time. This team, the way that they're playing, winning, scoring goals is going to alleviate a lot of pressure. So we anticipate that going forward, he will progress, he will evolve. And so, I mean, the future is bright, but let's give time. You know what I mean? In due time,
Yeah, I mean, look, I think that these young kids gotta pay their due. I think that in previous, let's just say, and Cristiano knows this because he knows, right? Back in the 80s and 90s,
he knows because he knows.
Back in the 80s and 90s, these kids that came up, I mean, they treated the older players by Mister, and there was a great level of respect.
Yeah.
And for them to break into a team like that, a team of veterans, of guys that are established, I mean, it was a big deal. And not every kid was able to do that. And I think that these days, because of the media exposure, because of the hype, a lot of these kids feel that they're entitled to these spots, to over a player that has his accolades, that has made his name in a career in football, and I think that is the biggest difference between now and the 80s or even 90s. It was tough. And a lot of these kids now, you know, we see plenty of examples of young kids that get hyped up at Benfica. Look at that Moreira kid. Got hyped up at Benfica, ended up at, where did he go? Chelsea, and now who knows where he is. He's somewhere.
Chelsea.
he's
somewhere. I think he's in Strasbourg now in France. He went back to France.
Yeah, he's somewhere.
Yeah, he was on loan last year. Yeah, he hasn't been. But there's so many examples. But look, it's the fans, it's the expectations, it's the pressure, it's the social media. Kids look good against other 19-year-olds, and everybody's ready to project these kids into stardom, not thinking and not remembering that, you know, you're playing against men con Barbarita, totally different competition. And so then these kids come in with tons of pressure on themselves, and they kind of feel like, okay, someone I played with at U17 is now 19, and he's starting for his club, and he's being, you know, playing productive football. And if I don't do it, because I'm a failure. Bro, look, at the end of the day, the good kids, the special kids, nobody has to go fighting for them. Nobody has to go looking for them. They'll show up. Their play will speak for itself, right? Everybody else, they'll have to earn their way onto the field, ignore all the noise. And, you know, little by little, when you get your opportunities, you take your opportunities, you make the best of it, and let your play speak for itself. And eventually you find yourself on the field. But as I said, when you find yourself on the field, you better make it count.
Yeah.
Because your videos from the U19s or whatever, that's not going to see you at this level. Everybody looks good at that level.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? It's at the next level, at this big boy level, this is where it matters. And so,
that's exactly right.
To bringing it back to Shaldrup, he was phenomenal in his highlights, and he's been very good in his club. But think about that type of campeonato. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As though, even though the Portuguese campeonato is one of see a lot of shit teams, I understand, but it's still a step up from where he's accustomed to playing in the competition he's been used to playing against. So, look, I'm not shitting on the kid. I like the kid as well, but I'm just not screaming for him to get on the field today. In time, he'll get his feet. I mean, right now, you have a player that every single time he has stepped on the field with a Benfica shirt, he's left you with water in the mouth. He's left you wanting more. He's left you wondering, when is he going to get his chance? And he scored goals. He's hitting crossbars. That's a guy like Amdouni, right? Guy that played in the EPL last year. He's come in and he's done everything he could. Every chance he's been out there for Sport Lisboa Benfica, and he's not even getting in the starting lineup.
Right.
Think about, you know what I mean? So you expect the guys like Saldrup and even Cristiano, who had a terrific preseason and then played 4 games. It was nothing special. You know what I'm saying? Again, preseason's preseason. You just got to give it time. These guys will eventually find themselves on the field. As you said, now they play, what is it?
Yep.
Providence, whatever it's called.
Providem.
And listen, let them, they better do something in that game. They want some serious minutes with the main squad.
No, that's exactly right.
Or meaningful minutes, I should say.
Yeah,
so.
That's exactly. I think that Kevin brings up a great point. Their agents get into their head too. Yeah, of course they do. Because it's all about the money for the agents, and kids get hyped up from very early age.
Yeah, not all cases.
There's videos. Yeah, and then at the end of the day, I think that it has a lot to do with the personality, right? Because if you're humble and if you understand that, hey, it's not my time yet. I gotta eat a lot more sopa to get to this spot, or to have a stature of this player that's been in the league for 10, 12 years, whatever. You got to be humble. You got to wait your chance. And like Cristiano says, and when you get that chance, you make sure it counts. That's it. And that's step by step. That's what you do. But anyway, talking about step by step, UCL match day 2 brought Atletico Madrid to Estadio Luz. Trubin was in goal. That was the game that happened today, by the way. If you have been living under a rock, now you know. Trubin was in goal. Ba, Araújo, Otamendi, Carreras across the back. Tinu, Koksu, and Auschness. Di Maria and Turkoglu on the wings. Pavlidis up front. Let me ask you this, Cristiano. Were you surprised to see Araújo instead of Tony Silva?
Yes. Very surprised.
Yeah. Yeah, I was.
You want to keep going?
You could, but I was talking to Steve Santos a little bit because we were watching the replay at the same time, and he was saying how possibly Araújo had won the position over Tony Silva, and I don't know, and I kind of offered the argument of, I don't know if he won the position. I think that maybe it had a lot more to do with the tactical setup. And it's, it was interesting, and that's why, I mentioned earlier that Lage did very well in the way he set up tactically. So Benfica had a build-up, a three-man build-up from the back, and I think that Araújo offers a lot more with his feet than Silva does. And also another nuance in the back, at times there was a line of 5 because Carreras would drop in the middle, and Turkoglu would drop at the fullback position. So I thought it was very, very interesting how Lage prepared for this game, and certainly it kept Atletico Madrid at bay. I don't think, I was looking at the stats before, and Dave, you could correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think Trubin made a save.
None on target.
Yeah.
They had 4 shots, but none on target. You're right on that.
Right. So an exciting game, and as Cristiano mentioned, if we had done the podcast yesterday, maybe we're a lot more negative in terms of this game, but it was an exciting game. It wasn't a game that I expected Benfica to play, or to play as well as they did, and even Atletico not play as well, but I haven't watched Atletico this season. I don't know if they've been doing. But certainly surprised about the way Benfica came out and played this game. 13 minutes in, 1 up. Artur Koglu off of Auschness assist. And a goal that was very similar to the goal that Artur Koglu scored against Gil Vicente, with Auschness also finding him. But I thought that this was This was a Benfica team that showed a lot of personality and a lot of character. Not once did I feel that this Benfica team was intimidated by an Atletico Madrid team with tons of names and talent. Cristiano, how did you see the first half?
How did I see it with my eyes? No, I'm joking. No, bro, I was pleasantly surprised. I anticipated Benfica to defend a little bit more, but to their credit, man, they came out and they played them eye to eye. Credit to Bruno Lage, who set this team to go forward, wasn't taking any prisoners. And this is what you and I have for years. We've been doing this podcast. I've been screaming for years on this podcast. Isto é que é jogar a Benfica.
Yeah.
You know, from the first minute, you're playing at home. You have to go get the result. When we were little kids, I mean, we often talk about it. We talk about our fond memories that when you came to Stadio de Luz, you shitting bricks, and Benfica was a very tough place to play against at home, and it's not been the case over the last few years, and in particular in this competition, that we all want so much to play well and get some of that love around the world that that recognition that we deserve, because we have fantastic players, fantastic team, and it was just, man, I just couldn't believe my eyes. I kept rubbing my eyes, like, am I watching? What the hell happened to this? What universe am I living in? Because Benfica completely dominated one of the top teams in world football.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? They created chances from the early settings when off a corner kick, Pavlidis forced Oblak to make a tremendous save right on his goal line off a corner kick.
Yep.
And then Benfica just kept going forward. And I kept, man, it was 1-0, but I'm like, okay, Atletico's they're gonna tie this up, they're gonna screw this up.
Right.
And before you know it, it's 2-0. You know what I mean? No, it was 1-0, I should say, going into the half, right? But you have that great chance by Pavlidis.
At the end of the half.
I think at the end of the half where it scraped the post, I thought he could have absolutely done better with that.
Yep.
But I kept waiting for Atletico to come, and they never came.
Yeah.
They absolutely never came. I thought Benfica from top to bottom, every single player on the pitch today was phenomenal. There's a couple of things you can criticize, but that's just being picky. But the coaching staff was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Credit to Bruno Lage, who put this together. And again, the biggest surprise for me was the fact that, I know I said it before, and I'm going to say it again, they came out to play Atletico eye to eye. None of that sitting back, scared shit. And so, man, I couldn't believe my eyes. I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, and I mean, that's what you want from your team, especially when you're playing at home, right? And I think when you're looking at this team, there's quite a level of talent in this team. You got 2 world champions on this team. You got a guy that everybody had written off last season as probably a big flop. That was the Eredivisie Player of the year prior, and that is now coming into his own and showing why Benfica went to get him. And look, it's a team that's very confident in what they're doing, and they believe in Lage and have bought into the system. And I think that he's got them well prepared. And I think that the other thing that's helping his team is the fact that they've struggled with their relationship with the crowd, right? And it hasn't been the best under Schmidt, and we all know why that is. And now they kind of have this renewed sense of support, like they're in love with the crowd, like the relationship they had.
I'm sorry, man. I'm Fredo.
You don't subscribe to that.
It's not that I don't subscribe to. That's not what it is. But the way you say it, right? I know that's not your intention, but the way it sounds, it's as if the fans have given up on the team. And the one thing that never lacked, even in horrible performances, and we saw, Dave,
I agree.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Dave. We're losing 5-0 at the Dragão, and the crowd was still chanting. So again, the way you set it up right now, I know you didn't intend it that way. That's why I'm clearing it up for some of the people that might be tuning in and might have missed some of the Benfica games. And have no doubt, man, there was the one thing that never missed was the support from the team.
The support was always there.
Obviously, they voiced they voiced their displeasure towards Roger Schmidt and some of the shit that Roger Schmidt was talking in press conferences. Absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt. But the fans always turned up for this team.
Right.
Everywhere they went, the support was always there. So in terms of the support that they got today, this is nothing new. Now, it's just that everybody's going through the honeymoon period. Bruno Lage is back. Everything's going well. Even when we haven't played terrific football, we're getting the victories. And the one thing is, I said here, when Benfica rehired Bruno Lage, I said that over the last 50 years, Bruno Lage has the highest goals per game average, and he's holding firm. Even as we said before, games that we haven't played well, we're scoring 3, 4, 5 goals. So the crowd, the fans are excited. The players are going back and waving and thanking the supporters and the crowd. And so, but the love was always there.
Yeah.
No, so I just wanted to clarify that.
No,
there was love.
You're absolutely right. I just don't think that it was as unanimous as it is now. And I also think that the team also was a victim of a lot of the dislike of Schmidt, and they were affected by proxy, if I could say that. Apañaron por tabela.
I would agree. I think you're both right on that, because you can take an example of João Mario, who was on the shit end of the fans just a couple of weeks ago too, right? And ran him out the door. So I think the fans were fed up with Roger, and not to say all of them were against the team, but definitely a much more united front from the fan support now.
But they turned on João Mario because, if you recall, first week of the season, or right before the season started, João Mario gave an interview defending the coach.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's why the fans turned on him.
Yeah, there was a lot of things. There was there was animosity with the club in Rui Costa for selling João Neves. So I mean, it was a lot of, there was a bit of turmoil, and like you said, Cristiano, anywhere that the team goes, they can never complain that there's a lack of support. The support is always there. Now, has it always been unanimous the past couple seasons like we see now? No, but all of this is also influenced by the way the team is playing and the product that they're putting on the field. So I think that it's, like you said, Cristiano, it's the honeymoon period right now. But I think that the fans and most of the fan base and unanimously is little by little coming back to this team in more numbers than before, if that makes sense. But yeah, let me just read a few comments here before we go into the second half. Kevin says Alfredo and company Carreras had a huge game.
Kevin, Alfredo and company. All right, next time I see you, I'll buy you a drink again. Now the company's gonna buy you a drink. I remember that.
Yeah,
he says
Carreras had the huge game. Safe to say that is best in Benfica kit. In the Benfica kit. Yeah, I agree. Look, I think that Carreras went from being a guy that had to fight for his spot, where to a guy that got a run of games, and he's making the best out of his opportunity. He's growing confident, and I think that a lot of these guys, and especially younger kids, you kind of need to build up that confidence, and that confidence can only be built up by more repetition, reps, and playing, consistent playing. And like we said before, taking advantage of opportunities. And I think that's what Carreras has done here. I thought he was exceptional.
What a monster game.
I thought he was exceptional. SLBES says João Mario had run his time. He wasn't contributing that much, and he was our highest paid player. Yeah, I agree. Carlos Amaro saying winning a lot of second balls, something completely deficient under Roger Schmidt. SLBES, I like Pavlidis, but Zekib is going to take his spot. I don't know. I think that there's a lot of people that have lost some of that initial fire that they had with Pavlidis. I'm on the other side. I think that, and Christina's going to hate me for saying this, I think that Pavlidis does a lot off the ball, and also is a guy that doesn't lose balls. That when
Why
he
would
gets
I hate you for saying
no,
that?
because you always criticize
He
me
does.
for guys that work off the ball that are goal scorers that are
Yeah,
supposed to
but
score
that's
goals.
but you also also have to do something when you have the ball on your feet. So
Right.
if you do both, I'm okay with it.
Right.
The problem is when you can't hit the side of a barn, and then all of a sudden you just want to preach that the guy does a lot of work off the ball.
Right.
That's the problem. When you're a starter for Sporting Benfica, you can't just tell me, "Oh, the guy works hard." Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
No,
that's
I
your
think
fucking job.
he's
You know what I mean?
agreed. And
But I'll say something about Pavlidis after we talk about the game in general.
yeah. No.
So because I was actually saving that for the final, not the final, but for when we stopped, when we talked about the game as a whole. So
Denny Rivers saying I'm loving this champion starts. Yeah, quite a contrast from this year to last year, where the first couple of
quite
games.
a contrast from Basel, bro. Oof, some years.
Kevin saying love that we didn't take the foot off the gas. Every goal is huge for goal differential. Yeah.
Felipe, Kev, that's when I told Alfredo that a jogar a Benfica, Kev. That's what that means. Never take the foot off the pedal, bro.
Never.
Keep it. That's jogar a Benfica, bro. Dá show e marcar goals.
Yeah.
That's it.
Philippe Greg is saying our midfield controlled the game very well today. Let's see what else. SLBES in this season it's a fight for the spot. He's talking about things change fast. Last year, Araújo was supposed to get the spot on the team, and Silva took it in the preseason. And this season, it's a fight for the spot. Look, I think it could be a fight, but also think about the fact that having guys like this where you kind of switch them on and off, and there's not really a drop in quality, and you're still keeping guys rotated in game shape. Yeah. So second half, but I thought it was a smart half by Benfica, especially on tactical side of things, tactically sound and confident and no fear of Atletico. Those were my notes. One scary moment that ball on a crossbar by Atletico, but not much more than that after that.
And the other scary moment was Araújo right at the beginning, right, where he had luck on his side, and the guy that he's taking his place, Thiago Jesus, Antonio Silva did it in the World Cup, but it's kind of like a similar play where he's on by himself on the right and it kind of messes up. But luckily, Otamendi made up the difference where Danilo couldn't do that in the World Cup, and one guy still getting blamed for that, and the other guy had luck on his side. So,
yeah,
but yeah, couple mishaps, but that one opportunity that they had, it was. Come on, man. That wasn't a shot on goal. We all know it.
Yeah,
I mean, if you play soccer for 5 minutes,
it was a chip.
You know that was meant as a cross. Yeah, meant as a cross.
Yeah, Brunjil Rodriguez is saying just having the players on their positions is a big deal. Yeah, we've all been talking about that. Second half opened up in the 52nd minute, and Benfica came out to play again, despite winning 1-0 and taking that advantage to the locker room. I think it was one of those things that, and I think the message at the half from Lage was, look, we're not going to just sit on this result and soak up pressure from Atletico and then play on a counter. Let's go right at them. And in the 52nd minute, Pavlidis won that PK that Di Maria put away, and 2-0 after that.
Which the referee had to go to VAR.
Had to go to VAR. It seemed pretty clear to me, but then again,
the referee had to go to VAR to check that.
Yeah, it could have also been that Pavlidis kind of like scrambled with the ball, atrapalhou-se com a bola, and he kind of lost the ball, but it was clear that he got stepped on. Yep.
No, it wasn't. To me, it wasn't. I mean, it was clear with the close-up replay, but from the initial camera angle, the actual feed that you got, I couldn't tell if he tripped on himself, if he got stepped on, if he stepped, I couldn't tell.
That's what it looked like.
Once it went to the close-up replay, he didn't just get stepped on once; he got stepped on twice.
Yeah. In the 60th minute, Amdouni came in for.
Dave, Dave, is there any way you could find out? Sorry, I was going to ask Dave. Dave, is there any way you could find out when's the last time Benfica got 2 penalties in the Champions League in a single game? Single Champions League game?
I was going to say, because last year we weren't getting those VAR calls, and there was definitely a couple of challenges that
it's been a while.
We could have benefited. But yeah, good to see that maybe that UEFA payment went through this year. Rui's financial audit found some money to get those penalties.
Well, you're saying that's why we're broke? No, I'm joking.
Possibly.
Look, yeah, it's and both penalties quite clear, right? But I was saying, 60th minute, I'm doing it for Pavlidis. 70th minute, best for Artur Glue and Rollheiser for Di Maria, and there's that refreshing. I thought that both guys came out of the game exhausted, especially Artur Glue. He was asked to do quite a bit of defensive work because he was joining that back line and he was making that 5-guy across line and then going forward also, man. So and he's the guy that we've said here that he does quite a bit of defensive work on both sides of the ball. 75th minute, 3-0. Ba from Best, another goal off of a corner kick, and we haven't seen Benfica score this many goals off of dead ball situations in quite a bit, and I don't know if Dave has that stat, but I hope he does. 84th minute, we would put the game 4-0 for Benfica off of another PK, this time a PK over Amdouni, if I'm not mistaken, that Kokshu put away. If you told me that Benfica was going to beat Atletico Madrid 4-0, I would have told you you're crazy. I don't think anybody expected this, but certainly Benfica, in your eyes, Cristiano, was this one of the better performances of Benfica in Champions League play in quite a bit? And is this something that is going to go down in the memory annals? What do you think?
To say it's going to go down in if we lose against Nacional, I think everyone's going to forget about today. We have, you know what I mean? We have to make this count. But yeah, in terms of the performance, it was just dominating a performance against a top-notch team. This is not against the Santa Claras of the world, the Beira Mares, the Vitória Setúbal. I'll mention my hometown so none of you guys get offended, okay? Well, Santa Clara is not my hometown, but Setúbal and Beira Mares.
It's the second hometown.
This is a performance against a top-notch side, and a team that just drew 1-1 with Real Madrid, a team that's done some damage in Champions League over the last few years. We got to a few finals.
Yep.
It's got to be one of the toughest teams to play against. I believe they're like the toughest team in the Champions League to play against once going down 1-0. I think they've been phenomenal at closing out games. They haven't lost games in forever. So we're not talking about, a Balde Milner or whatever the hell the name of that team. I call them Balde Fon, whatever. They're not one of them weak-ass opposition. This is a premier team, premier top team. And Benfica just so easily manhandled them, as we talked about earlier. There weren't many clear-cut, there weren't any clear-cut chances for them, scoring chances for them. The one that was, it was a mistake. It was a cross that tricked everybody, hit the crossbar.
Yep.
They didn't create anything else. As we go up 2-0, I'm still waiting for the shit to come down at some point. I'm like, oh, yo, because they know that's stupid. I never understood it when I was young and stuff. I never liked it, but the worst lead to have is a 2-0 lead. I'm like, actually, no, I love being up 2-0. You know what I mean? You concede one. But I guess I understand. You concede one, the team starts to believing now the pressure is on, and before you know it, you're on the back heel suffering to hold on to the score. But at no time did that pressure, did that possession, did that dominance that we're all expecting at some point from Atletico Madrid come forth. And it was just, I couldn't believe it. And Benfica kept going forward. In years past, and a guy that we all know that I absolutely loved in Jorge Jesus, we all know Benfica goes up 2-0, especially in these competitions, right? It's David Luiz at left mid and Gonzalo Ramos at center back, and it's, all these weird-ass moves just to try to hold on to the result. And today was the total opposite. I think Bruno Lage has come in and said, hey, man, if I'm going to go out with a banger. He's like, I messed up last time. Now this time I'm just going to keep going forward. And he really understands what the Benfica is as well, which is jogar a Benfica 1 goal, 2 goals, 3 goals is not enough. You could get more. You keep getting more. And as we talked about last week here, I mentioned it that in this competition, goal difference is going to matter.
Yep.
Right. And so it was kind of like was something I was a little bit upset. If you guys recall, I asked you guys if you were upset, and then I said maybe disappointed was the right word I should have used for only beating Red Star 2-1 on the road. And now you see this performance, and it makes that point that I made last week. I think makes it even stronger, which is shit, man. I mean, absolutely right. Benfica last week should have just turned on the jets and kept going forward, and they didn't. And I think Lage learned from that. He understood that against a weak opposition, he took his foot off the pedal, and we hung on at the very end to hold on to the 2-1 lead and win the game. And today he said, I'm not doing that. And then again, look, it was ballsy on his part, but to be fair, Atletico never looked threatening. So it's kind of like, hey, they're not going to do shit. We're just going to keep going forward.
Yeah.
So it was just, I mean, it was, if you didn't know it was Atletico and I told you it was Casapia, just, same exact stats, just change the name, you're like, oh, yeah. Yeah, comprehensive victory by Benfica. Absolutely. We expected it. But no, it was Atletico Madrid.
Right.
And so kudos to them. Phenomenal performance. Somebody asked me on Twitter, Nuno asked me on Twitter, when's the last time Benfica, is this the biggest win and whatever? And I said, last time Benfica got a win this big was September 30th, 2015, when Benfica beat Atletico at the Calderon, whatever the hell it was called at the time, 2-1, and then Gonçalo gets a goal.
Yep.
I mean, it's been that long because, I mean, as I mentioned before, yes, we did beat Juventus. Yes, we did beat Barcelona. But those teams weren't as strong as this Atletico Madrid is supposed to be, at least.
No.
Expectations were much lower than, even though we did beat Barcelona, what was it, 3-0, something like that?
Yeah.
But it wasn't a Barcelona with these expectations that Atletico had.
Yeah. Steno, I'm going to use this question to set up your Pavlidis comments. PJO is asking, do you guys think Amdouni should start next game over Pavlidis? I'll let you answer.
No, I think. Look, I think Pavlidis is lucky in that instance because Amdouni is not a quote unquote striker, a back to the goal type of guy as Pavlidis is. The only other option on the team is Artur Cabral. So I think he benefits when it actually helps him out. But what I wanted to say about the whole Pavlidis thing was that I think every single player on the field today was really good, if not spectacular. Right? I thought Carreras was phenomenal. I think this was the best game that we've seen from him. And we understand it's early on. He's still very young. But the kid today, to play Hugo was like, yeah, reminded me of Grimaldo. And I say, yeah, except this guy could defend. Grimaldo could never. But it was a phenomenal performance. Yeah. And I kind of understand what Hugo was saying. Benfica should always have, fullbacks with these capabilities of carrying the ball and creating and getting involved in the attack. And that's why he referenced Grimaldo. But the kid today was all over the field. I don't know if he was motivated by playing the Spanish side or whatever. He figured the Spanish coach is going to be watching and trying to make a case to get on the radar of the national team because obviously it's every player's dream to play for their national team. But phenomenal. I thought he was absolutely phenomenal. I thought Otamendi was fantastic. I thought Ba, a guy that I seldomly criticize here on the podcast, as you very well know, I thought he had a very good game. I mean, possibly the best game I've seen at Benfica for him. Florentino had some shakeups. It's still... I still like to see a lot more from him with the ball at his feet. And it kind of makes me wonder, Alfredo and Dave, if Benfica had a legit number 6, a guy that defends well but knows what to do with the ball, how much more dangerous they would be. And you saw in the first half, for instance, a play where the ball hasn't even gotten to Tino. And Griezmann is not even running at Tino. He's just running backwards because he knows he's going to pass it back. And he did pass it back. And so he's very limited with the ball at his feet. But nonetheless, he had a spectacular game as well in terms of positioning and defending and stuff like that. And for the most part, like I said, everybody had played really well. And Pavlidis played well in certain instances, but there's other instances, man, that leaves a lot to be desired, which is, and again, it's not to knock the player, but I was a little bit let down. I mean, he had a couple of opportunities that he could have put in the back of the net, and he did. In particular, one right at the end of the first half. And it just makes me shake my head, like, what curse do we have on us now that we get 53 strikers in the last 4 years and none of them can put the ball in the back of the net? I mean, that's got to be in the back of the net, man. You know what I mean? And I know he works hard, but I also think Alfredo he gives the ball away a lot. And I don't know what you said before you was talking to Steven that he
Yeah.
works hard off the ball and he doesn't lose possession. I disagree. I mean, with the possession part, I think he loses a lot of possession. I think he gives the ball away a lot when he's got simple plays to be made. And I don't know. I thought his feet were better. I thought his feet were better than what they are, than what he's shown so far. That's not to say that he won't come around and maybe he'll start to do better in the future. But yeah, I mean, again, I hate being critical, which I'm not. I don't want to be critical. I hate pointing out the negatives from today's game because I think today everybody should be, congratulated for the phenomenal performance that they all put forth. Everybody, the fans, the coaching staff, the players, subs came in, made a difference. It's great to see players wanting to play. It's great to see players flourishing, youngsters flourishing. It's just, man, this is what Benfica is all about. And for those of you wondering why we fell in love with Benfica, and
Yeah.
you ever have doubts, just put tape on a games like today because this is what
Yep.
Benfica should be. I understand. Sounds ridiculous. Benfica winning games 4-0, and they're not. They could play Atletico Madrid 10 more times, and they probably won't beat them 4-0 again. But again, anything is capable of happening, and on these big games, Champions League nights. This is what it's about.
Yeah.
And Benfica today, at least for today, stepped up. They played wonderful football. They dominated an opponent that nobody ever anticipated
Yep.
that this would happen. And so, credit to them. Some things could be worked out, but nights like this, when we ignore all that nonsense and just look at the positive.
Yeah. No, for sure. I thought it was a great performance, and I think that for those of you that were at Stadio Luz, certainly like a game in your memory for sure. I think there's a few games that stand out. I think the game against Juventus a few years back is one of the games that stands out. The 3-0 against Barca is another game that stands out, and I think that this one will go down in the same aspect in terms of remembering just a dominating performance and scoring 4 goals against an Atletico Madrid that is, as Cristiano mentioned, is a big team. Is a team that has players and has talent and has been places. I think in the past 5 years they've made it twice to the Champions League final, if I'm not mistaken. So, but anyway.
I don't think so. Dave, what do you think about this performance, Dave?
Yeah, and stats.
What do you rank it?
This is right up there with those Barcelona's and Juventus with this current group for sure. If you would have asked me before, I thought Atletico would have been scoring at least one on us, given how we've been conceding against these smaller clubs in Portugal. But I think that quick goal in the first half opened Atletico up and made them have to press forward, and it just caught them more in the second half too, and we just kept on going. So,
Yep.
all positives. Two wins, 6 points in this new league stage of the Champions League. I think from what I've seen, 9 to 10 points will get you at least the 24th position. So we're on the right track here.
Yeah. Dave, stats?
You guys think for a second, real quick, for a second, ignoring the bank account, you guys think that Oblak wished he was on the opposite goal today?
No,
No.
No?
No, I don't think so. I mean,
No?
Oblak is established. He's the captain of that team. Has established himself as a club legend. I don't know. He has a lot more history at Atletico than Benfica.
Oh, for sure.
Dave, stats so we can move on and say goodbye to our PAMA media friends.
For sure. Turkish delight with these two. Artuglu has now 4 goals and 2 assists through his first 5 games with the club, and Koksu with 4 goals, 2 assists through 9 games this season. 5 goals from corner kicks this season since Bruno Lage has taken over. They had scored 6 all of last season, so I know Alfredo, you had made a point of that earlier in the recap, but looks like scoring from these set pieces is improving. And Benfica already has more points in this year's Champions League through 2 matches than they did all of last season's, with only finishing with 4 points.
Was it Bruno Lage or Rui Vitória? I don't recall. What was the coach that had the set piece coach?
It was
Verissimo.
it was
giving shot.
Verissimo.
you know it was
Vitória?
Nelson
I don't-
Verissimo.
Oh, Verissimo. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Is that set piece coach still around?
Yeah, let me interrupt real quick
team.
just for us to say goodbye to our Pama Media friends. You can continue listening to our podcast in the usual aggregators. Thank you so much. Speak to you next week. All right. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, Verissimo was the set piece specialist, but he was part of whose coaching staff? Was it Rui Bombo or was it Lage?
It was through Lage.
Through Lage, right?
No, okay. So he's back. So he's back. And
He's been at the B
definitely
team.
He's drawing up
influence.
plays in his spare
having an
time.
influence.
Yeah, he's drawing up plays in his spare time. Anyway, turning our attention now to Nacional, which comes up this Sunday, 1 p.m. local. Benfica will travel to the Madeira Island to play Nacional. Dave, what's Nacional up to this year?
This season, they've got 5 points from a win, 2 draws, and 4 defeats, and currently sit in 17th position. Historically, 37 victories, 7 draws, and 4 defeats in 48 official meetings. Last 10 is all favorable in our for us, 9 wins, 1 draw. And the last time we've dropped points in Madeira against Nacional was February 2013, a 2-2 draw, 7 straight victories since then.
Yeah, there's a 10-0 in there also, Dave, if I'm not mistaken, under Lage.
There is a 10. And you know what? I'm going to go out on a limb here. October 2nd, 2024, we're going to have another 10-0 victory at some point this season with Bruno Lage in charge here.
Damn. Dave's going deep.
You see what these results we're getting with the team not playing 100% and game either every 3 or 4 days. You give it some time, there's going to be a 10 goal routing here coming up.
I don't think we get a 10-goal game because, as we said before at the beginning of the pod, Lage will rotate in terms of give guys breakers. So he'll bring in guys. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
but
I hope
those guys might be hungry
Maybe
to get on the score sheet too.
Yeah, I hope he does.
That's a good point, a fair point. But 7, something like that, I won't be sorry. But look, it'd be nice to get it started on. I'll take 6 on Sunday.
Yeah, I'll take 1-0.
Wait for the 10. I'll take the 6.
All we need is 1-0.
No, one's not enough, Alfredo. 1-0.
I agree.
Okay, 1-0.
I agree.
Benfica needs to make this count. Obviously, can't go from this game and then have such a huge letdown. Yeah. Especially going into an international break. You want to leave on a positive note.
Yeah.
You need to get the 3 points on the road. Fog, no fog, whatever. If you can't land and you gotta jump out of the parachute, you gotta do what you gotta do, get the 3 points and get out.
No, and look, how many times have we seen this European fixture hangover manifest itself in the following game? I mean, we've seen that a lot. And if I mentioned that against Gil Vicente, we needed to not look past Gil Vicente into this Atletico game. Certainly, the one thing that I would like for Benfica not to do is to have some kind of an emotional letdown after this high and this great win against Atletico at Stadio Luz. 62,058, if I'm not mistaken, was the crowd at Stadio Luz. But certainly, when you go this high, and you have to come down, and especially playing a team that's in 17th place that has only won 1 game, as they've mentioned. I think that there has to be a mental refocus, not to let this slip, and I think that I hope that Lage is able to rotate, and as they've mentioned, maybe the guys that are coming in are going to be hungry, and maybe that's what we need to make sure that we're focused on.
Yeah, you bring up a good you bring up a good point, because I think if the one concern, but I understand why he's doing it, but the one concern I have is Lage is, like you said before, he's just playing the same 11 with the exception of L's injury, and he put but it's been the same 12 players on and off starting. So at some point he's gonna have to start rotating, and I know tonight wasn't the night to rotate, but Will he do that against Nacional? Will he decide to play the same 11, guaranteed a victory, go into the break with the nice, what is this, 7-game streak
Yeah.
or 6? I don't know. What's today? 6 in a row or 5 in a row?
Today's
Today.
5.
Dave.
5 or 6?
5 in a
Okay,
row.
so
I
then
think.
if they win, it'll be 6.
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah.
so if they win, going into the break with a 6-game winning streak, and then maybe working on, when the team gets back and have a couple of days of training and working on some things, and maybe then starting to rotate. It'll be very interesting to see how he does it. But yeah, I mean that's the one concern. Same 12 guys, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. He's new. Some of the key players that have arrived are new as well. So yeah, we'll see what he does.
Yeah.
Does Laj continue Roger Schmidt's vacation policy during the international break?
Good question, Dave.
That's a great question.
That is a great question.
I'd say no. I say no because
He needs time with the team.
he needs time with these guys. So
Yeah.
I say no.
Yeah, just for that principle alone, I think. And I
But
don't.
but Benfica do have a lot of internationals also.
They do. They do. And one thing is to work with half the roster and the other thing is to work with have like 4 or 5 guys that are there that didn't go to their national teams and having to bring up the B team to get a training session in. I get that. But I mean, sometimes I thought those breaks were a little bit excessive. But hey, you're the one that works with the team. You know the levels. You know the player's mental state, and maybe a lot of those decisions were based on that. So I don't know. What else do we got to talk about, Cristiano? You want to read some comments before we go, or?
No, there's one comment in particular. My boy Diogo Reyes is like giving he's talking about Oblak. Giving captain's armband in today's rules, it makes no sense. Outfield players can't complain to the ref or get carded. I mean, Dio, the goalkeeper gets the card, but there's like a designated player that the referee knows he's going to be talking. He's going to be doing the talking for the captain on plays, on the opposite side of the field. So I think it's an understanding between the referees, and it's like an unofficial rule.
Yeah.
So no, it's not as dumb as you might think it is.
Yeah. Anyway,
more comments. Let's see. More comments. Sheikh Martinez says Atletico's tactics are a bit nonsensical. They were losing 3-0 and kept defending with 10 men behind. That's the great Simeone Cholo.
Yeah.
That's what he does.
Yep.
Diogo says Arsenal for me was a joy to watch, like a floor general in the midfield, leading press. Yeah, I mean, they're phenomenal. Kevin says Cristiano already has 2 goals this year since Lage is back. Dino is back to being the octopus that he is. Bruno Teixeira says, "What's up, Benfica, caralho?" Carlos Amaro says Atletico couldn't wait to get out of Lisboa. Bruno Teixeira won the ball back many times, and goals came after that. Yeah, I mean, Carlos Amaro saying Atletico legit gave up after the 70th.
Yeah, you could tell.
Marcelino already said that. Misael Pereira says, "Hey guys, just arrived now. Amazing match. I support Lage. I'm amazed to see Benfica destroying opponents. We're back."
Yeah. Look, everybody's happy.
Good.
People are happy, and we are happy too. And like I said, I think that the title of the podcast is "We Deserve It." I think that for all the pain and suffering we were put through last season, and then again the beginning of this season, I think having a night like this where you could just you could put a smile on your face and be proud of your team, and especially for us here outside of Portugal, that we talk Champions League with our co-workers and with our buddies. I think that it's a moment of pride, and I know that Cristiano, for one, he looks forward to that because he has a lot of friends that he discusses Champions League football with that are not Portuguese. So I think that when Benfica can pull out these performances and these results that are, you look at it, wow, that's impressive. They beat Atletico 4-0. It's a moment of
I did.
pride.
I spent about 3 hours. I spent about 3 hours after the game, Alfredo, explaining to some of those people exactly what we were talking about. Talking to them and telling them that this is what I tell you guys all the time, that
Yep.
Benfica has the potential to be what they could be. This is exactly what I mean. Obviously, you're not going to win every game 4-0,
No.
but in terms of being able to beat anyone on any given night at the start of the lose, this is where Benfica should be on a year-to-year
Yep.
basis. As I've said, Benfica should be the Bayern Munich of Portuguese football.
Yeah.
And tonight, they made us all proud. Everybody wants to talk about Benfica tonight. Everybody is aware that Benfica is not an easy team to play against. So, yeah, they made us all proud. I think every Benficans around the world tonight is going to bed, except
Absolutely.
the guys in Australia. They already went to bed and waking up. Now they're awake. But the rest of us are going to go to bed with a smile on our face.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. Yeah, and that's it. That's all we got. We'll be back next week. We'll recap the Nacional game and we'll look ahead to Pavide. But I think that there's maybe a 10-day stretch between both games, Dave. Maybe more.
So we have Nacional.
We have Nacional, then a break.
Taça da Liga.
Then we don't return until the 19th.
Portuguese Cup. Yeah, we got Nacional this weekend, which is what the 4th,
6th.
the 6th, and then we're not back until the 18th or the 19th, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
A good week, almost 2 weeks there.
Yeah, so we'll come back and talk about the Nacional game, and then we'll take a break like we usually do. So thank you everyone for joining us. I know that everybody's feeling well, like Cristiano saying everybody's going to bed happy today. So I will be going to bed happy for sure. Thank you very much for all the Freddies that joined us and very active in the chat. Thank you for the guys that are going to guys and gals that are going to listen to this a little later on your podcast on your way to work or at work or whatever. We appreciate your support as always. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you again next week. Later.